One of the key ways to fight the coronavirus pandemic is to track infections in the so-called hotspots. In Ontario, according to our analysis, almost all of the cases are located in and around major urban centres. Health officials have that location data right down to the neighbourhood, but the province is refusing to share it with the public. CBC's Vicadopia went to find out why.
Brampton is just one of the Toronto area communities seeing a troubling surge of new COVID cases in some neighborhoods. But which neighborhoods specifically, Ontario's premier refuses to say.
I don't want to stigmatize one certain, 10 streets, but people know where the hot spots are.
Indeed, Brampton's medical officer does, but is also staying mum.
There's a chance that some people may sort of see it as, well, that area has a lot of COVID, but we don't have COVID in my neighborhood. And that's not the message we want to be delivering. We want to be delivering that, it circulates amongst the community, it circulates with people, and there aren't necessarily, invisible walls between different neighborhoods.
The Greater Toronto Area has less than half of Ontario's population, but more than 3/4 of the province's cases.
I think we need to be transparent through all of this. It's brand new, and people are dying. So we need to be transparent to try to save as many lives as possible.
Scientists have access to that location data to find out who's most testing positive for COVID-19 in the Toronto area. A disproportionate number do live in lower income neighborhoods, but the research found the main risk factors were not where they live, but their jobs and how many people they live with. Still, Taiwan and South Korea have both shared location outbreak data with the public as a means of containing the pandemic.
Maybe it's a tool we can deploy, but I would like to see it managed in a sensitive manner. Stigmatization is a real thing. We have to handle this delicately. So simply dumping information, while I want that as a researcher, I do understand there are some larger societal concerns about it.
The Ontario government insists public health departments are already working in outbreak hotspots, increasing testing and contact tracing, critical for a province that's still falling short of its testing target. Vicadopia, CBC News, Toronto.
Donald Trump has written tens of thousands of tweets since becoming U.S. president. Well, now he's threatening to shut down social media after Twitter fact-checked him. In a first, Twitter has flagged 2 Trump tweets with a warning. One of them he posted says, "There is no way, zero, that mail-in ballots will be anything less than substantially fraudulent." Well, Twitter put a warning label in the post and linked it to a page that described the claims as unsubstantiated. CBC senior Washington editor Lindsay Duncombe is all over this story, and there's a backstory, Lindsay, to Twitter taking the action it did. What is it?
Well, Donald Trump had put these tweets out about the mail system saying they were fraudulent, and this move by Twitter really is unprecedented. To take the action and put that link there saying that there is more credible information is essentially a way of saying the president isn't telling the truth. But what's interesting, Suhana, is a lot of people would like to see Twitter go further. In fact, they want to see these tweets deleted. Tweets that the president shares that are not true should leave the platform. Now, Twitter has a long-standing policy to not remove tweets of world leaders on the argument that they are newsworthy. There's also the idea of the First Amendment, the right to free speech in the United States, which plays a big role here too. But since the coronavirus, we've seen a move away from that. In fact, Twitter has taken down tweets of other presidents, including the president of Brazil, the president of Venezuela. And then there's this growing move in light of tweets that the president over the past couple of days has put out there about MSNBC host Joe Scarborough. The president has insinuated on Twitter that Scarborough, when he was a Florida congressman back in 2001, was implicated in the death of a staffer. And that is something that has long been disputed. In fact, in an emotional letter to the head of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, the husband of the young woman who died explained that she died because she fell after an undiagnosed heart condition. And he goes on to say how painful it is to have these conspiracy theories being spread, being talked about by the President of the United States. In his letter, he asks, "I am asking you to intervene in this instance because the President of the United States has taken something that does not belong to him, the memory of my dead wife, and perverted it for perceived political gain." Now, on that point, there hasn't been action from Twitter. Those tweets still remain. The president was still talking about those allegations this morning, although Twitter did apologize in the statement for the harm and the hurt.
And Lindsay, Trump clearly not happy. What's he saying?
Well, Donald Trump has lashed out against Twitter on, you guessed it, Twitter last night and again this morning. Just let me pull up the tweet here. The Trump campaign has accused Twitter of having political bias, and Donald Trump again said that he would promise big action in terms of Twitter, saying that he could shut down the platform. So what we're really seeing here now is a high-profile fight between the organization and the President of the United States.
Thanks for that, Lindsay. CBC's Lindsay Duncombe in Washington.